One of the first things that you learn as a copywriter, as you're learning copywriting as a skill, is that the headline is important. Headlines are super important. And so you might hear the David Ogilvy quote that your headline gets 10 times the readership of the rest of your ad. You might hear that if you don't have a great headline, nobody's going to read the rest of your copy. And this is all true. The headline is critically important. It's what tells people that they need to read the rest of our copy. And so one of the things that a lot of copywriters do, me included, is we start to study classic headline templates and formulas. And when I was getting started, if you're watching this on video, you can see a couple hundred 3x5 note cards here. And what this is it's a stack of notes that I took on individual headline templates, headline formulas, headlines that worked on classic ads. And I just wrote them all down. And sometimes when I was writing ads in the beginning, and I would just go through the practice of trying to write 50, 100 headlines for a particular ad. And the way that I would do it is I would flip through all these headline formulas until I found one that gave me an idea, and I would write that out, and then I do it again, and I do it again, and I do it again. And it's good practice. And when you're doing things like this, there's actually two things that happen. Number one, you learn and use some pretty important language patterns. So like the top headline formula on here is how to. And it's a smart thing to do, to start a headline or a bullet or whatever with how to, because you're telegraphing that you have some information to share with someone who is interested in learning. The other thing that happens is that you learn to hate some of them. So like my least favorite, the one that to me jumps out as like novice copy 99.9% of the time, is who else? Who else wants this benefit, right? Who else? To me, it just screams like novice copywriter just copying headline formulas, and probably the rest of the copy won't be well thought out. But the other day, I got an email that completely changed my perspective on who else headlines. It did it in a new way that I thought was really interesting. And so I want to talk to you about that in today's episode. We'll get into that in just a second, but don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe so you get more content like this delivered to you, including if you subscribe to me, you get it every single day in Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. So let's dive into today's episode. These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough. Okay, so before we dive in, today's episode is, as always, sponsored by me. And specifically, you'll want to check out the BTMSinsiders training library. The link is in the description, and there's a link to High-Velocity Copywriting. So High-Velocity Copywriting is one of the courses in the training catalog. And when you sign up, you get access to everything. It's like Netflix for copywriting and marketing training. So you get access to High-Velocity Copywriting and everything else, etc., instant streaming access. And High-Velocity Copywriting is all about writing direct response copy that gets results, and it's focused on like the big idea and the structure of effective copy, so that once you have that big idea and structure, then you can find the headline to fit the idea. It's a completely different approach than, okay, how can I write a headline and then come up with copy after that? It's finding the right message first and then writing your copy, and it actually makes your copy come out a lot faster and get better results. So, a little story of the email that made me rethink my most hated headline template. So this was, I don't know, maybe last week. I got an email from Weiss Research, a client of mine, former client, and I get their emails, and the subject line was, "Who else is tired of crazy low yields?" Now, I can't tell you how well this email performed or anything like that, but I can tell you that it resonated with me, and it jumped out at me as a copywriter. Who else is tired of crazy low yields was the subject line. So immediately I read who else, and like my filter goes on for like, oh, this is going to be terrible. But then it was different. It was different, and I actually liked it. So I thought about like, why, when I'm predisposed to dislike who else headlines, did this work on me? Who else is tired of? Okay, so suddenly, instead of it being who else wants, it flips that assumption, right? It's not benefit oriented. So the example, who else wants a copywriting shortcut that will make you millions, right? Instead, this actually focused on the market's pain point. And importantly, that pain point is super relevant to today's news and investor sentiment. So the pain point that the market has today is like a lot of people who are in Weiss's audience came up when you could get CDs for 5%, like certificates of deposit with your bank where you're getting paid 5%, and suddenly certificates of deposit pay nothing, and like savings accounts pay nothing. And so investors for years, actually since the 2008 financial crisis, have been chasing yields because the Federal Reserve has kept interest rates so low. And so, who else is tired of crazy low yields? Like we've been dealing with that for over a decade now. And so there's a lot of investors out there who are tired of crazy low yields. And so if it is a genuine sentiment that is tied to the message of the marketing that's going to follow, a genuine sentiment of the voice of this promotion being tired of crazy low yields, then who else is tired of crazy low yields is actually a pretty brilliant little headline. And I think that what it underscores for me, like the copywriting lesson, is that when you're using these headline templates, the thing that happens with a lot of novice copywriters, and one of the reasons that I hate who else headlines so much, is that so often they don't feel unique. They feel like it's just like the exact same thing that everybody else is writing. And that's like the death knell for copy, that if your copy, if your idea, if your message feels like the exact same thing that everybody else is writing and talking about, and it's not just the actual message or the actual promise, it can be the way you are presenting the message, which is if you're using the same headline formula as everybody else and it's transparent that you're using the same headline formula, it's not going to feel unique. So that death knell of your message not feeling unique, even if you have the best product in the world, if your prospect arrives at your marketing message through whatever way that they arrive at it. So it could be in their mailbox, it could be in a magazine, it could be a YouTube video, it could be scrolling their Facebook news feed, it could be an email arriving in their inbox, it could be whatever it is, right? However they engage with your marketing message for the first time, if their subconscious mind judges before their conscious has the time to think about it, consider it, rationalize it, whatever, if their subconscious judges, I've seen this before, if they think, oh, I've seen it, this isn't unique, this isn't new, then they're not going to respond. They're not going to engage with the message. They're not going to give you the time of day. And so your message has to feel unique. And then importantly, another terrible thing that you can do with your headline, if you're using, let's say you land on like the best headline formula, the best headline template, and it gets your market's attention and it's exciting and they read it, and then they start to read your copy and the copy does not follow, like sentence one does not follow the headline logically, like it's not a continuation of the message. It's not going to work either. So you need to have a headline that ties in directly into the big idea of the promotion, of the message. So you have this idea, you write the headline that introduces the idea in an exciting way and that feels unique. And so that might include using a headline formula. It might include kind of steering clear of a headline formula. I don't know, right? But you present it in the headline in a way that feels unique. And then if there's a subhead, like the headline gets them to read the subhead, and then the subhead needs to get them to read the first line of copy, and that needs to get them to read the second line of copy, and that needs to get them to read the third line of copy, and you're selling readership all the way through. And so using this headline template, it feels unique, it catches their attention, it gets past that subconscious filter of, does this feel new and unique? Is this something I need to pay attention to? And then the message needs to continue seamlessly from that headline down through every word of copy, or if it's multimedia, whatever, it needs to continue through the timeline of the media playback, right? But if you're going to use headline templates, you have to do it in that way. It has to come from the message. It has to come, you can't start with the headline template. It has to come from the message, and then you have to use the template in a way that feels unique. Maybe it can be a mashup. Maybe it can be contrary to how most people use it. So this Weiss research product or offer is specifically about some kind of high yield investments. I didn't go that deep into it, but if you're tapping into the sentiment of who else is tired of crazy low yields, and the voice behind the message might actually show up in a room of let's imagine here that this person who is writing this email is in an investment club, right? They're in an investment club and they're at their monthly meeting and they're sitting around a table and they're having a conversation with other investors. And, there's maybe some talk about stocks, there's talk about, index funds, whatever, like there's a conversation. And then there's a lull in the conversation. There's a second of pause. And then this person who is the voice of this email says, man, who else is tired of these crazy low yields? Like I don't want to chase stock gains or whatever. I just want a high yielding investment. Remember those days when, you could put your money in the bank and expect to actually get 5% on it, right? And that feels like such a legitimate, just conversational interjection that it actually makes a great headline because it feels so relevant and it feels unique and it feels conversational and it feels like everything about it just hit for me, for my reaction. And, honestly, based on where I'm at as an investor, because I have yield investments and I think that yields are ridiculously low and I think that they're crazy low. And so it resonated with me. Don't forget to check out the links in the description to BTMS Insiders, like Netflix for copywriting and marketing training, where you pay one low fee, you get instant access to my entire catalog, including the link to High-Velocity Copywriting, which is specifically about how to write copy, where you start with the headline, you get the audience's attention, you build their interest in your message, you convert their interest into desire in your product, your service, your offer, and then you get them to take action. And it includes entire copy structures for how to develop your copy around what I've called the 3 big idea types, which are really the only 3 main categories of ideas that great copy is based on. And all of that's in High Velocity Copywriting. I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Hey, keep watching because I aim with every episode to help you grow your marketing genius and your results, one episode at a time. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.